Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we'll be diving into what the Supe virus is. One of the deadliest and most disturbing pathogens ever created is the Supe virus from the boys. This virus, born from darkness and revenge, was specifically designed to eliminate superheroes, those who for so long have toyed with human life without consequences. Created in the secret laboratories of Godolkin University, this virus is not just a simple biological weapon. It is a reflection of the darkest desires of those seeking revenge against those who believe themselves invincible. That's why, in this video, we will delve into the origin, evolution, and devastating consequences of the feared Supe virus. A creation so dangerous, it promises to completely redefine the fate of this universe in the upcoming seasons of The Boys. It all began in the secret laboratories located beneath Godolkin University in a covert facility known as the Woods. It was there that Dean Indira Shetty, driven by an irreplaceable personal loss, oversaw a series of cruel and ruthless experiments with a single goal: to annihilate the superhumans. With the backing of Vought International and the participation of Dr. Edison Cardosa, Shetty turned that laboratory into a modern version of an inhumane testing ground. Students with special abilities, mostly without families or with unstable psychological profiles, were used as live guinea pigs. The facilities, decorated with images of forests to simulate normalcy, hit a scientific hell where ethics were the first sacrifice. Shetty's pain had a name: Flight 37. Her husband and daughter died when Homelander chose not to save the passengers after damaging the plane's controls. She watched the footage. She saw his face, and she knew that conventional justice would never reach the supers. This is how her plan was born: to develop a virus capable of not only neutralizing them, but destroying them from the inside. Vought's original plan, driven by Stan Edgar, was much more controlled. They sought a substance that would temporarily weaken the supers as a deterrent against figures like Homelander. But Shetty took that plan much further. She demanded permanent results. The virus was perfected to specifically target individuals with Compound V in their blood. The initial symptoms were debilitating, but not lethal. However, under pressure, Cardosa modified the virus to completely destroy the supers' bodies. Fever, unbearable pain, loss of powers, and a horrific skin infection marked by pustules and blisters. But the Dean didn't stop there. She demanded that the virus be made even more dangerous, transmissible through blood, saliva, and, eventually, through the air. She wanted it to be global, to leave no refuge, to ensure that no super could escape. In the dark universe of Gen V, Dr. Cardosa was one of the architects of the virus most feared by superhumans. But even creators can regret their work. As the true purposes of Indira Shetty came to light, purposes filled with revenge and an unbreakable personal motivation, Cardosa began to suspect that what he was helping to build could end up unleashing a catastrophe. And after the tragic death of Sherry at the hands of Kate Dunlap, pushed to the limit after discovering he had been manipulated alongside Golden Boy and his brother Sam, the doctor made a drastic decision: to betray the university and flee with all the knowledge of the virus, to save his family and his own conscience. Seeking redemption, Cardosa contacted Victoria Neuman, believing that her political power and apparent stance against the supers could offer him a safe exit. In exchange for protection, he offered everything: the virus samples, the experimental data, his confession. But betrayal came quickly and without warning. Victoria, without hesitation, blew his head off to ensure that no one else would know the secrets of that biological weapon. What came next was even more disturbing. Neuman moved the virus to a rural property linked to her father, Stan Edgar, and put her own husband, the virologist Dr. Samir, in charge of the project. Although she publicly appeared to be an ally of Homelander, The truth was very different. Neuman wanted to destroy him, but on her own terms. Under pressure, Samir managed to perfect the virus, making it more lethal. However, his formula still wasn't enough to take down Homelander. An unexpected accident contaminated the farm's water with Compound V, causing a mutant outbreak among the animals. The creatures gained superhuman abilities, turning into monsters that were impossible to control. Faced with this threat, Victoria and her team decided to test the virus on these beings, successfully eliminating them. But then, Billy Butcher appears. He kidnaps Dr. Samir, takes samples from the mutant corpses, and forces him to continue developing the virus, this time with a single goal: to create a variant capable of killing Homelander. Samir, however, sets a limit. He refuses to take the virus to the extreme for a good reason. If the pathogen mutates too much, it could become unstable and spread through the air, causing a pandemic that could affect even Neuman and her daughter Zoe. And that possibility is not fiction within fiction. In episode 7, we see Butcher use a sample of the virus to inject it into Kimiko, allowing her to escape. The infection spreads with brutal speed, but Frenchie acts in time and amputates her leg before the virus consumes it completely. That amputated limb later becomes a vital key to extract more of the virus and plan a possible final strike against Homelander. Today, the virus is no longer just an experiment. It has become an unstoppable weapon, capable of killing supers with chilling efficiency. In its early stages, it barely suppressed powers. Later, it caused fevers, blood vomiting, suppurating sores, and a slow but inevitable death. But now it's something worse. The most recent version, used against the mutant sheep, acts within minutes. It causes hemorrhagic fever, which ends with the infected person vomiting a green liquid before collapsing. The only way to survive is to cut off the infected area before the virus spreads. The pustules and severe inflammation of the veins are proof that this strain is not only stronger, it is almost unstoppable. This virus is no longer just a biological punishment. It is an intelligent poison, an extermination weapon, and although it is still claimed that it only affects supers, the risk of a mutation that wipes everything out remains latent. And that's all we know so far about the dreaded super virus, one of the most terrifying biological weapons in the Boys universe. This virus, born from darkness and revenge, has proven to be much more than just a tool to take down superheroes. It's a manifestation of the darkest desires of those seeking vengeance against the invincible. Personally, I think the story behind its creation is as unsettling as the virus itself. But what do you think? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Did you already know about the super virus? What do you think about its destructive potential? Do you believe we'll ever see something like this in the real world? And finally, if you had the chance to face this virus, would you take any measures to avoid being infected, or would you risk living with the consequences? Share your answers to these questions and your overall thoughts on the super virus from the Boys universe. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, share it to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my new videos.